Greetings, Stereopsia. I'm so happy to be here with you today. I certainly hope that you've been holding well and that your families are holding well also in these very different times that we find ourselves in 2020. I certainly hope that everyone's been enjoying the conference thus far, and I'm happy to present to you tonight a keynote presentation on extending the reality of culture and inclusion in XR technology and removing barriers to innovation and becoming a better ally. Now, with this keynote that I'm so humbled to be able to present to you, I hope it takes us in the next step in our build of technology and emergent technologies, and I hope that that next step is a better step. Thank you. Consider how far we've come in technology over the last 10 years. Now, consider how far we've arrived from the last 30 years. It's significant. The advancements and acceleration of XR technology, of artificial intelligence, roboticism, and communication has brought us into a new sector and paradigm that we only at one time thought of and imagined. We are seeing technologies that are before our very eyes and presence that we only saw written in books. And we use yet these technologies today. And in fact, we've become more dependent on technologies in this past year than we had the last 10 years. Consider how advanced we've become in technology, knowing that we have so much more to go and so much more to build, though we certainly have come and arrived a long way. Now, while you're thinking about how far we've arrived in technology, I want you to take some time to bring it in a little bit closer and to consider how far you've arrived in technology, the contributions that you've built, and the things that you've arrived in your station of business. And at what point, who helped you along the way? At what point in your journey, who helped set you on a better path to get to where you're at today? And in so doing, think about how far you've arrived in business, in what you do, and who helped you to get there. I certainly hope you are. We have a lot to go. We have a long path ahead of us, and this little bit of time that we get, let's continue. Hello, my name is Christopher Lafayette. I'm an international and national speaker on emerging technologies and applied sciences and the culture inclusion advocate. When I was a boy, I would come home, walk down the hall, and there was a man sitting in a room at a little desk with a little light on, tearing apart and putting back together computers. And I'd go to this man, and I'd say, "Dad, what's the internet?" And that man would go about telling me about what the internet is. And I'd come home the next day, walk up the hall, look in the room, and the self-same man was sitting at a desk with a little light on, tearing apart and putting back together computers again. And I would say, "Dad, how does the web work?" And that man would go about telling me about how the web worked. It wasn't until years down the road where I began to appreciate the magnitude of what that man was and meant to me, even after his departure. Though he's still with me. And so I came to Silicon Valley with black colored skin, and I found myself building out of hackers and hotels and hacker spaces and different places all across Silicon Valley. And learning from people that didn't look like me and didn't come from places where I come from, both women and men alike. At some point, people began to ask me to speak at different places across the valley and across the United States, and then I found myself speaking at different places around the world. And while I was speaking at all these different venues and different places, I realized a few things. That there weren't too many people that looked like me that were on the stages that I was on, and furthermore, when I looked out into the audience, there weren't too many people that looked like me. And when I come back to Silicon Valley or work with different people and different companies and platforms, I began to realize that there weren't too many people that looked like me that were building this technology. And I had to think about for some time, are we moving in the best direction that we can with all our accomplishments, with all the things that we've achieved? Are we going in the best direction? And so we have to go back. There are those that we left behind. There are those in communities that come from places where I come from in Oakland, where when I look back, and it took time for me to look back, to realize that where I come from, there's not a lot of parents in technology that look like me. And furthermore, in places where I come from, like East Oakland, Compton, Baltimore, Atlanta, and other different cities and different places and countries around the world, there's not too many households that even had a dad. And so I said, I wondered what would happen if I were able to take a lot of the people that I've been working with over the years, professionals, women and men alike, and what if I paired and brought them together with communities in which I come from, so that I could take our hidden heroes and pair them with our hidden geniuses all throughout the black community. What would happen if we put together such a program to be able to teach and to educate and to help guide our members of the black community towards better steps and better directions, and to do what many others have done for you and I? What would happen if I brought us all together and created a silicon bridge? But then I had to stop and consider, what would be the greatest obstacle for being able to do this? What would be the greatest steps and limitations that would cause me not to do this? The doubts, the barriers. What would that be? Why not do this? And I had to think about it. And I came to the conclusion that our biggest barriers for making technology even better is us. Is us. That with all that we've built in technology, and as far as we've come, and with all the things that we've built, as great as technology is, that technology would never be as great as it can be until everyone has the opportunity to build it. But we can't get there without belief. Without the idea to know that we can do just that. That if we can build a VR headset, that we can contribute more helping hands to build together. That if we can create three-dimensional interfaces, hyper-realistic simulated environments, that if we can do that, wouldn't it be much better with more cultural perspective and contribution for us to go further, to build more, to build stronger foundations, and to look at ecosystems not as hardware and software, because ecosystems aren't hardware and software. Ecosystems are people. And the more culture that we add to an ecosystem, it doesn't take away from that ecosystem. It levels up the ecosystem. And so that our platforms become better identifiable to more audiences, and that we expand into more markets when we have more people from different environments, arenas, and culture contribute to the overall success of our product development. And so now is the time. I had to stop and think about what I was doing in technology and my contributions, my very small contributions, and I had to ask myself, have I done enough for our Black communities, even when I talk about it? And the answer was no. And so I reached out to the community of people that I've been building with for years. And I put forth something that I didn't know how it would be received. I did not know how many of you would respond for me putting together such a program as I've done. And I looked for our hidden heroes and mentors. And we launched a Black Technology Mentorship Program. And I launched it earlier this year in 2020. What a year to launch anything. And I said, I can't just have people here in Silicon Valley. I need to be able to build with people that are around the world. And this program needs to also be for people from around the world, not just here in Silicon Valley. Technology isn't just Silicon Valley. Technology is global. And I wanted to build a program for mentors and mentees to be able to excel at their best, where they can learn, where we can create a bi-directional beneficial platform where all of our friends are welcomed, where we're able to look at allyship and to ask ourselves and began to define what is an ally, what are the better steps and the guidelines to becoming a better ally. Well, the first was being open-minded. The second was having a disposition of vulnerability, to know that I can learn more, to know and understand that the way that I look at things could be changed and even better and enhanced. A willingness for servant leadership, to serve others, to give back to others in communities, in places where I don't come from. And then in that process, identifying the self-limiting beliefs of the things that hold me back from doing these things that I know with my own two eyes that I look and I know that could be better, and I believe that in my heart that I could make a difference. I want you at this moment to take some time to add what is on this list that we haven't added of our allyship community. That's the small thing I ask you to do at this time. Now, while you're doing that and thinking about what are the other things that we can add on to this list of becoming a better ally and removing barriers to innovation, there's more to share. And so I launched the Black Technology Mentorship Program. And that's exactly what it is. Excuse me. It's a mentor-mentee program first, education reimagined second, and last mile fulfillment third. And when we say last mile fulfillment, it's about creating jobs and careers for our Black communities, for our very underserved Black communities. And it's creating entrepreneurs, startup platforms, people that can build the technology that you and I yet build. People that can become a founder one day, that come from communities that don't even know what a founder is in technology. They don't know what a business plan is. They don't know how to ideate. But they use technology every day with the little few devices that they have. And all they do is sit around dreaming about the things that they could do. But why not create a bridge for them to actually manifest the dreams that they want to achieve? But the only way that we would be able to do this, and the only way that we would be able to make this happen, is less talking and more doing. I didn't want to sit on another stage and talk about all the things that are wrong when it comes to culture and inclusion and diversity and equity and belonging. I wanted to be able to create a platform that actually does something about it. And where all different types of people that look like me and those that don't look like me could come and build with us together. I didn't want to do it alone because I know I couldn't do it alone and that I can't. But I wanted all of you to come and help build. And so you've answered the call. We just finished our autumn 2020 sessions, and it was a major success. We had great attendance. We had speaker series and mentoring small batch sessions and on-demand course flows where we're teaching people how to be able to build augmented reality and virtual reality and so many different other facets of technology. And we've built it and we've done it. It's actually happened. And in the winter, we have even more that's coming up. Even more speakers and mentors that are going to be working with our mentee students to be able to help teach and guide and set them on better paths and the right directions. And there are so many of you that have heard about this program, and so many of you that are listening now that have answered a call, and so many of you with a willing heart that want to serve, even if it's just for 1 hour out of an entire year, to sit and speak with students. Many of you have companies that you may want to be part of this platform, to be able to engage with our Black community, to be able to show that your company is willing to stand with those in affirmation, in solidarity, and allyship with our Black community. You know, I'm speaking with you not just the idea that I'm presenting a keynote, but I'm speaking to many of you as a fellow technologist, and that I'm hopefully speaking with many of you today as a hidden hero, just like you. And even more importantly, hopefully in your eyes, as an ally and a friend. And when I think about our hidden heroes and what they mean to me, that have helped guide me along the way in business, there's such an appreciation. There's such a thankfulness that comes with being a hidden hero. And what we do with that is that we pause and we stop and we take the time to give back unto others, as I've been taught, that which was freely given unto us, who helped you along the way, who helped guide you to get to where you're at today. I hope that you would take time to join me with BTMP. If you have any questions or any hopes to be able to build together, reach out and connect. And know that you can create substantial impact for someone that you do not even know. And overall, it will make technology better. Thank you so much. So appreciated. Have a wonderful conference. Build strong and build together. Thank you.